Alright, so you might be wondering where I've been. I said I was going to start doing Kagurabachi reviews on this channel, and I haven't done them since chapter 84. I've been slacking, but in my defense, I told you guys not to subscribe if you're here just for Kagurabachi, because I can't make time every week to do these videos, but today, I finally caught back up. I was 5 chapters behind, and here we go. Chapter 95 of Kagurabachi released, and Yura is finally showing off why he is the leader of the Hishaku. He has the mental fortitude, the strength, and the ability to take over the Sword Master's enchanted blade. It's not going super well. He was about to kill Uruha and Natsuki, but because it takes such a toll on the body, he did let them slip for a quick second. He tried to follow up with another attack, Centipede, and of course Uruha yanked Natsuki and they dodged that attack as well. But that right there does not downplay how crazy Yura has been. And of course, alongside that, we finally know what Yura is after and what he wants to do with the Sword Master. He wants to kill him, which might not seem like a big thing to a lot of people. But up until this chapter, it was a very valid question to ask what did they want to do with them. There were some people, I was kind of on the boat, kind of not on the boat, but they're like, oh, maybe the Swordmaster and Yura are working together, right? Because right when Yura and the Hishaku showed up, the Swordmaster stood up and said, the time is nigh. And it's like, okay, like, are they planning something? Was today predetermined by the both of them? We were not exactly sure. But we now know that they are on opposing ends. And of course, thanks to Kasen, the world's best monologuer, we now know what they want to do with the enchanted blades. Of course, we didn't get it from the horse's mouth Yura, but Kasen pretty much said that they want to kill the Swordmaster, get rid of all the other Swordmasters as well, like Uruha, Samura, etc., and they want to use the blades to control the world, or at least control the political climate of Japan, right? They want to put them all under one big umbrella. And I'm not going to say that's exactly right or wrong, because he even spouted, like, with the problems of the Kamunabi, like, hey, we have such little say-so in politics that nobody respects us. We can't really do anything, right? We're kind of just here, which is kind of funny to say considering how well-funded this whole organization seems and how many people they do have. But yeah, like, that was the whole thing, right? They wanted to see some change, so the leader of the Kamunabi, Kasen, ended up working with the Hishaku. Pretty crazy that Aami literally just one-shots the guy. That was surprising. Rarely do I go into a chapter without spoilers. I went into this chapter spoiler-free, and seeing Kasen finish his monologue, and then Aami just, like Jackie Chan, 1-inch punch. It's like, what the hell? Like, what? I was so perturbed. Because they built this guy up. Last chapter, the chapter before, they're like, oh, by the way, there's 3 sorcerers who stand head and shoulders above all else. It's myself, Yatsuru, and Kasen. Aami, though, they did mention this when they listed those 3 sorcerers. They're like, Aami, though, he is the best fighter. And I was like, okay, like, I've seen this before, right? This isn't my first rodeo with anime. They want to make the power scaling very obscure. Here's 3 really strong sorcerers who are very knowledgeable. They memorize, like, every single book in the library. And then here's Aami, a young, hot-blooded guy that is really good at fighting. And I was like, okay, even though he's the best fighter, that doesn't mean that the other 3 can't hold the candle to him, right? That makes sense. So imagine my shock when we get to this chapter. Aami one-shots Kasen, and they're like, by the way, yeah, they were being nice. Aami really is on a different level on every standard. I was like, yo, what? What? And dude, if Aami is this powerful, Shiba is the first thing that comes to my mind. It's like, dude, if Aami is like the damn near Gojo of the universe, how strong is Shiba gonna be? I don't think Shiba's gonna be another Aami level character, but even being like behind Aami is like a feat in and of itself. So yeah, I am wondering where Shiba's at. Of course, sorry, I read multiple chapters at once, so I forgot if it was this week or last week, but we do end off the chapter with Samura making his way over to Tokyo, to Kamunabi HQ. So yes, it looks like all the players are converging. And also, now that Kasen has been dealt with, I do wonder if they will be able to put the Magatsumi into Hakuri's storage. I don't think they can because Yura is currently tapping into it. But yeah, good stuff here. I also really love that they covered up the plot point of like, oh, like, why did they let the Kamunabi take the blade. You know, if it hit the Rakuzaichi, you know, they could have stolen it beforehand. They could have stolen it while it was in transport, which is something that I thought of too. And, you know, obviously you can go back into a lot of different series and be like, oh, like, why didn't this person do that at that time, right? Like, why is that gap there? Is it plot convenience? Is there a reasoning? Turns out there was a very valid reason as to why the Hishaku let the sword get into Kamunabi HQ. And I love that. I love that they covered up that plot hole. I don't want to call it a plot hole. It's more of just something that's like, okay, are the villains incompetent? Did they let this slide? Did they not know? Like, you know, it was something that people were actually asking. And lo and behold, we got the answer. Also, kind of crazy that the traitor ended up being the Kamunabi leader. I did not expect that. The Hishaku really just penetrated that freaking deeply. Still kind of silly though, I will admit this. You know, it was a big mystery, like wondering who it was, but I didn't feel super attached to this mystery, mainly because we didn't know most of the Kamunabi leaders until just recently. Like, they're just names on a paper, in my opinion. So seeing Kasen just be the betrayer, yeah, the shock value was there, but then it's like, okay, I'm not like super shocked. You know, I was like, oh yeah, he looks like a bad guy. Sure, I'll give it to him. And then boom, lo and behold, he's a bad guy. But either way though, that is my quick review over Kagurabachi. Loved the last couple of chapters. The fighting is top notch. I love the swordplay. And also, since it has been a while since I talked about Kagurabachi, I do gotta say this. The Natsuki, Uruha, Hokuto, and Yura fight, chef's kiss. Chef's freaking kiss. I also loved how they opened up one chapter where they were like, hey, why aren't we using sorcery? We can use it, right? Why am I the only guy that's actually done anything here? And they were like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm just so rusty. I've only been using swordplay. And then Hokuto kind of said the same thing. And then Natsuki just felt so belittled by that. You know, I equated it to playing League of Legends. You know, you got a 5-stack. And yet you're the only person on your team who's actually using summoner spells. It's like, okay, guys, we can use these. Like, they're here for a reason. Why aren't we using? Why am I the only guy that's actually utilizing this ability? It was so funny, man. But yeah, as far as what I think could happen in the future, I think Chihiro and Samura, they are probably going to show up next chapter. Yura's looking really good, but Yura at the same time, like, I don't know how long he can tap into the Swordmaster's power without getting possessed. And then Azami's on the way. Like, it still does not look good for the Hishaku. You know, obviously, the good guys, the Kamunabi, they're like, hey, like, they wouldn't just walk in here without a plan, right? An ace up their sleeve. And while you could look at Kasen, the mole, being the ace in the sleeve, or maybe Yura tapping into the Magatsumi as an ace in the sleeve, I don't think that's it yet. I still think we have yet to see what they're truly capable of. I think they still have another trick or two under their cloak. You know, they're just like a pedophile in the park. Any minute now, they're just gonna, and then we're gonna get absolutely shocked. But yes, those are my quick thoughts on Kagurabachi. Like I said, let me know what you guys thought about these last couple of chapters down below. If I got anything wrong, you know, because I am treating Kagurabachi like a casual. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that if I do get something wrong, I apologize, and please just correct me down below. But yeah, anyways, guys, until the next time I do a Kagurabachi review, you guys take care, and I'll see you later. Peace out.